carry me to my grave.
You can hear a couple of frequencies that are causing a little bit of problem there. And so we're going to find those. So we're basically going to accentuate them to the point that they are impossible to ignore, right? So let's just start down here. And All right, John Welch with Home Studio Heroes. Today we're going to de-harsh a vocal here. So I've got two tracks. One is right here. It's the main track. And then one here is the secondary track. I duplicated it, and I took off the EQ. So I've got the EQ here that I've done already, and I did that just so that I can easily show it to you in case it takes me too long to find it again, but I want to show you how to find these frequencies, and I'm going to use that on this track here. So we're just going to dive right in. So I'm going to take off the EQ and let you listen to some of this right here, especially in this high part. So if you listen to this middle part here, in the lower registry.
But it's almost never what I need to hear today.
So that part, nothing's coming out there, right? But then when we jump up here into the higher registry.
So call me out or call me on, but don't you dare say just hold on. I got enough generic platitudes to carry me to my grave.
So if we turn these back on, then you'll hear how this cleans up.
So call me out or call me on, but don't you dare say just hold on. I got enough generic platitudes to carry me to my grave.
And it's especially right here on this Carry Me to My Grave watch. Oops.
To carry me to my grave.
So you can hear those frequencies kind of tickle in your ear. And
to carry me to my grave.
So it's in there. Okay, so this is what the EQ I've done is. Okay, so you see here I've got the two band here at 2413 frequency. I've pulled out 3.6 dB, and this is the highest Q you can go on the REQ. I love the REQ because it's a perfect blend of precision, but also it kind of pulls out more frequencies of ruts around the place you're going for than other EQs that are more surgical, I suppose. And so I find that it's a smoother EQ for doing this kind of work. I just really like it. So if we jump over to the 5-channel, 2890 frequency, pulled out 3 dB. Again, tightest Q you can do on an REQ, and then 3 pulled 5 out at 8116, and then I boosted from 9863 up, right? So this is a shelf EQ. I boosted up, and then at 4 I ducked down just 16,000. And this is my voice, and for my voice I get a lot of kind of whistle sound up here, so I ducked that down as well. But this gives a little bit of air, and this helps pull out some harshness that comes up there. And then I because I've used up all the bands, I threw another REQ on here, and then I just ducked out 2.5 here at 4015, okay? So the reason I'm showing you this is very few people that I see explaining how to use EQ. I see hardly anyone showing like a real EQ scenario where you have to go in and pull out all of the EQs that are causing problems, or all of the frequencies that are causing problems. And you'll see a lot of people that are showing you like crazy stuff, right? Where they've it's like, oh, here's me pulling out some really nasty frequency. So they've hacked it all the way out. Yeah, that's not how you do EQ if you're trying to do it right. You have to understand that you're dealing with a bunch of little frequencies that are causing problems, and you got to find all of them, and you got to pull them all out, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to mute this one. I'm going to turn on my second one that I duplicated here. I'm going to show you how to do that, right? So we'll turn on the first one here. And what we're going to do is, there's a fine balance between making problems and finding problems. So we're going to come through here.
But it's almost never what I need to hear today. So call me out or call me on, but don't you dare say just hold on. I got enough generic platitudes to carry me to my grave.
All right, so right here on this generic platitudes, right, it first pokes its head in a generic.
Got enough generic platitudes to carry me to my grave.
So the reason why I like REQ so much too is because it has your visualizer here, but it's really on the carry me to my grave, carry you to whatever the words are.
To carry me to my grave.
That you hear it start to come through, right? So what we're going to do is, for me, and I just know this because it's my voice and I've already done it, but just so you're aware, most of what you're going to perceive as harshness is going to happen between 2K and 8K. And most of what you're going to perceive as like whistle or piercing is going to happen between 8K and, 20, but more like 8K and 16K. And so it takes some time to tell the difference between the two of those. But what we're going to do here is we're going to grab, this band right here. We're going to turn it on, and we're going to turn our Q all the way up. And we're going to pop the gain up here. We're not trying to create problems, but Hear and Carry, right, if you listen, Hear and Carry Me to My Grave. Whoop.
To carry me to my grave.
You can hear a couple of frequencies that are causing a little bit of problem there. And so we're going to find those. So we're basically going to accentuate them to the point that they are impossible to ignore, right? So let's just start down here, and we'll just sweep.
To carry me to my grave.
Okay, so right there.
To carry me to my grave. Carry me to my grave.
Yep, see, so right there we've got a little bit of a problem. So this is why it's just the tiniest bit. We're just going to duck it out the tiniest bit.
To carry me to my grave.
So we've cleaned that up. We're gonna. Man, I'm having some buffering issues here.
To carry me to my grave.
So now we're gonna look for some of those whistling frequencies. So you hear those?
To carry me to my grave.
So we want to find. We don't want to create problems again, but we want to find some of those that are causing some piercing sound because they're gonna be in there.
To carry me to my grave. To carry me to my grave. To carry me to my grave.
I think I might actually be hearing this a little bit differently this time than the first time. So I'll try this out. 2.5. I might have missed a couple first time through. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing here. We're gonna go up here. We're gonna. Man.
To carry me to my grave.
So you hear that right there?
To carry me to my grave.
And a lot of people, I think, would say, like, leave those alone. Here's the deal. As soon as you start compressing as well, which there is compression on this already, but as soon as you start compressing, all these things become a lot bigger problem. And then when you master it later, you're going to have problems with it as well. And I don't know why people are always like, oh, just do as minimally as you possibly can. And I understand that you don't want to destroy the track, but when you're listening to a professional recording and there's none of these artifacts coming through and your ears are like totally fine with it, it's because they do this precise work. And so you want to do it. It doesn't take a lot, but you got to put the work in. So we're going to keep sweeping.
To carry me to my grave.
See, so you hear that right there? Listen to this.
To carry me to my grave.
Do you hear that? See, this is why it's hard to hear some of these sometimes. It's not presenting as like harshness. It's presenting as like a whistle. It's almost like a dog whistle sound. Listen.
To carry me to.
Okay, so you can still hear that harshness.
To carry me to.
You can hear it coming through, but it doesn't sound like that whistle sound. But listen.
To carry me to my grave.
Now you can hear it, right?
To carry me to my grave.
It's right in between like 8 and 85.
To carry me to my grave. To carry me to my grave. It's so to carry me to my grave.
Okay, and then what we're going to do here is, I think I'm just going to start this a little bit later. I think I'm going to start this at like 10, and we're going to do this bump at 10.
To carry me to my grave.
And then we're going to duck this guy. Oops, we're just going to... Oh, that was a mistake. Yikes. I don't even know what just happened there. It's supposed to be on 2.5 here on 10.
To carry me to my grave.
And then on 1, we're going to put the Q up all the way again, but this is on the high pass, right? And we're just going to bring this up to about 100. Just to cut off any of that.
To carry me to my grave.
It doesn't even look like there's anything down there, but there's still stuff, even if it's not showing up. All right, so I don't even know if we need this second EQ, because I think I might have done it better this time. And I mean, again, that kind of thing happens.
To carry me to my grave.
But here's where we're going to find that out for sure. We're going to go down to this later part, and there's another part here at the end where I start singing a lot louder. And this part usually has some issues. when I start singing these louder lines.
'Cause all we are is stained glass windows. The beauty comes with the sun. And when the darkness takes us over, we lose ourselves in what we...
Yeah, so I'm still hearing a whistle, like when this is off.
'Cause all we are...
It almost sounds kind of like a... It sounds almost like it's coming out of my throat, right? It's not, but it's what it sounds like.
'Cause all we are is stained glass windows.
So if you listen to this boosted now...
'Cause all we are is stained glass windows.
So you hear that? Like, again, those things, that means that there's frequencies in there.
'Cause all we are is stained glass windows.
Perfect.
The beauty comes with the sun. And when the darkness takes us over...
Here's the thing, like, people call me anal, but I like to go ahead and, just keep looking around a little bit just to make sure there's nothing big that's hiding, right? So you want to be careful not to, like, mess with stuff you've done, because, like, obviously we know there's problems around this area, so it's like if I mess around here,
'Cause all we are...
I'm going to hear those frequencies, but I've already cut those out, so that's not my point. I just mean we're going to sweep back down this way a little bit and just make sure that we're not missing anything.
And when the darkness takes us over, and when the darkness takes us over, and when the darkness takes us over...
So right there, right? So I want to check to make sure, but I don't think I've hit that frequency yet. So I've got 82, 62, 36, 26, and 10,000, and that one is on 2768, right? So it's a little bit up, and I know that's it's a different frequency, right? So we'll just duck that one a little bit too.
And when the darkness takes us over,
There we go.
we lose ourselves in what we've done. Because all we are is stained glass windows.
So you can hear it, right? You can hear it trying to kind of poke through, and it might be the kind of thing where maybe that needs to be ducked a little bit more on a couple of these, right? Maybe this needs to be 4 dB instead of 2.5.
And when we lose the hope we cling to, we don't believe it came to this, it came to this, it came to this.
So those little things, you just got to play with them, and it sounds like there still might be something in here. Let me just see, and it might just need to be pulled down on one of the other ones we already did. But let me just see.
And when we lose the hope we cling to, we don't believe it came to this, it came to this, it came to this. So take the pieces that I'll give you. And when we lose the hope we cling to, we don't believe it came to this, it came to this, it came to this. And when we lose the hope we cling to.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is I think we need to just trim some of these down a little bit more, right? So we're gonna jump over this. Where's the 10? Oh, that's why. Yeah, see, so I boosted this here, and maybe we just boost that a little bit less, and then I'm gonna come over here to the 10 as well, and I'm gonna cut a little bit right on that 10 mark, right where that. We're gonna duck that a little bit.
And when we lose the hope we cling to, we don't believe it came to this.
I'm still hearing something on those E's, right? So I think that though is just gonna be coming in here and bringing down the 2 a little bit more. So we got to be on that 8 a little bit, that 8,000 frequency. We're gonna duck that down.
And when we lose the hope we cling to, we don't believe it came to this, it came to this, it came to this. So take the pieces that I'll give you.
Yeah, so those other cuts on the original track were a little bit deeper, and I think that's why But see, these are still different. Like you look at this, I've done more, and I've done a little bit differently this time. And I think that that's just depends on what you're hearing at the time. I was probably tired when I did this last one, so my ears were a little bit less attuned. But that's how you do it. That's how you find frequencies. And I probably could do a little bit more work on this, but you get the idea. I don't want to make this tutorial take forever, but the idea is, don't stop hunting until your ears are satisfied, right? And you can always just tell. Like, to me, I always just get this tingle in this ear right here. I always just kind of can tell when it's a frequency that's jumping out at me. And what you do is try it across different sound systems, right? Sometimes it'll be your monitors, or maybe it's your room, and they're causing something to sound wrong. So play it across a bunch of different speakers, and it's like, I don't hear that anywhere. But this is where you can't trust headphones very much, because I could throw on a pair of headphones and not hear a single one of those problems. And so it is good to have some real reference monitors that are a good size for your room. But so that's how you do it. That's how you hunt for harsh frequencies. That's how you track them down, and that's how you remove them. And don't be afraid to do a lot, because what took me years and years to figure out was sometimes there's a lot of little frequencies causing problems, and you have to hunt them all down and pull them out a little bit at a time and figure out what the balance is. And, you don't want to be making 10, 15 dB cuts. You want to be making a lot of 2.5, 3, 4, 5 dB cuts where you need to. And just trust your ears and let them guide you.